Welcome to Table Scraps. I'm Ben.
I'm Matt.
That's Matt. Hi, Matt. Welcome, Matt Corluka. Welcome to Table Scraps.
Thank you so much for having me. I had to turn down a lot of board game podcasts, Ben, to be here. So so you know. Okay.
I'm aware that you have a lot of options, and I appreciate that you could have been anywhere tonight, and tonight you chose here.
I chose here. Well, I'm also excited to be here, so thank you.
Thank you. That's, the thing is this, you can choose and be unexcited about it. So thank you for hitting both those check boxes. That really matters a lot to me. That's very helpful. So one of the reasons why I had you on here because you're a generally great person.
Yeah, generally, sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, I was hoping you'd say thank you, but that's okay.
Thanks.
It's fishing for a thank you. No, I had you on here. First of all, I adore everyone out there on the internet. I adore Matt. Matt is one of the few people who I keep on aggressively trying to claim as my family, even though he's not. He's like cousin-ish because Matt actually married my cousin's cousin.
Cousin adjacent,
but I keep on just claiming Matt as my cousin because I want
to.
Claim
away.
I want to. But every time you come over to game, you always bring a lovely variety of snacks. And you're kind of becoming the snack king of my gaming life.
The king who is snacking.
The king, yeah. You were the snack king.
That's it.
You see there's a word play.
So much wordplay. And
again, as people who watch this know, I've been playing around with Apple Motion, which means that I will make some sort of snacking graphic. I don't know what it's going to be, but it was whatever just happened on screen was amazing.
Hey, if you're throwing chirons around, I will take one. I will absolutely. Feel free to introduce me with a...
You're the snack king, but I'm the chiron king these days. So we're talking about snacks.
Yeah.
We're talking today about what's a good snack, what's a bad snack for game night. Mm-hmm. Okay. And this is serious. We're not joking around tonight.
No, there are no jokes.
No jokes.
I will do my best to be as serious as possible.
Be a very serious person about this because snacks matter. We need snacks at our game nights.
Yeah.
But, we also there's an art to a good snack. So I would love to hear from you. What do you think? Do you have have a hero snack that is going to be good?
That's a great question.
Do you mix it up for every game night?
I think you try to mix it up. I think one of the key things, and to give a little bit of the background on it, is I come from a family that, whenever we would have people over, if we were hosting, we would always make sure that they were overfed, if anything,
Good. I love that.
And I also brought that forward where if somebody like yourself, who is the best host ever when it comes to board game nights, look at us just throwing compliments around.
What?
But no, I think it's also the responsibility of a good guest to bring a lot of snacks.
Technically, I think it's actually the hosts is supposed to actually provide snacks for their guests. You literally just said, when people come to my family, we make sure they're overfed. And I'm like, when you come to my house, you don't get to eat. You have to.
We starve. Matt, you're the snacking. Ben, I'm struggling. I am bringing food for me.
I do try to provide. It's actually funny. I have actually I think because I play games so much that I have become kind of a snack slacker. I'm a snacker.
I don't think so. You think so? Really?
Yeah, because
Ben, you literally cook for people.
I cook, but there are a lot of times where people come in and they have to kind of, I don't know. They usually say something like, "Do you have something?"
Where's Matt?
They're like, "Do you have something?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah." And I pull out something, but
That's so funny.
I do have to bring up my snacking game. But you usually bring 3 things.
Yeah. Oh, you noticed that?
I noticed. You always have a trio.
Yeah, that is intentional. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in those instances, I think what I've tried to do is I've tried to think of, okay, what is something that is sweet for people to tackle?
Yeah.
What is something that is salty? And then the third thing is always just I'm going to pick a new thing today. You know what I mean? I always like to try a new treat from the store that I've never had before.
That's the experimental category,
right? Yeah, that's the category.
that's the category for experimentation and innovation in snacking.
Yeah, that's right. It's a roll of the dice. It's a risky one too sometimes because sometimes people won't like the.
Have you had any real colossal failures on that category.
No, always success.
I mean, you're a good curator.
I'm the snack king.
And you often go to Trader Joe's, right?
I do, yeah.
Because Trader Joe's is kind of like the snack king of supermarkets.
Yeah, it really
right?
is. I really like, they have that chocolate cluster treat that I love. I think I brought it over here a few times. That was a hit, I
do enjoy that. Although I had a few friends who after, like, because they were left over at my place, and then I gave them to some friends, and some friends did not like the snack clusters because I think it was actually too much of everything for them. At first, they were like, they were overwhelmed. It was like seeing into the soul of the universe.
Okay.
And they couldn't take it.
And then did you subsequently cut that friend off?
I was like, you have terrible tastes. I'm never going to see you again. I gave you a precious cluster because I could have eaten that. But I mean, obviously not every snack is going to be for every person.
No, that's true.
Not everyone's
Some people have dietary restrictions. You got to ask that ahead of time too.
Allergies,
that's right.
Yeah.
I think it's important also to ask that question before you head over, especially if you're playing with a new group of people.
Because it turns out that if you kill someone with a snack, it's really a bad vibe on game night.
Yeah. I mean, the game will still continue.
We will continue.
Yeah.
We are going to
try
finish
first aid.
Like it's just sort of an annoyance because now it's like, well, do we take the moves for them as their body is
That's the question. Yeah, or are they out of the game? But then, do we restart the game then?
Do we ask the paramedic to take the sub in?
That's a great question. Yeah.
Could you imagine?
That'd be very fun.
That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, they have.
Imagine if someone was going to anaphylactic shock and they had to go to the hospital, and as the paramedic was coming in, they're like, "Oh, you're playing brass, pretty cool." And they're like, "Hey, when you're done with this, like, there's this open seat now."
We play Operation after this, also the real one.
Okay, so what are some of your favorite snacks to bring? I want to hear a good snack.
My good snack, I think, is like a veggie stick kind of situation. Do you know what I mean? Or like a drier kind of chip.
When you say veggie stick, now I know, but some people may not know. The veggie stick is like, it's kind of it's in the potato chip family.
Yeah.
Crispy,
the cousin
salty.
of the cousin.
It's a cousin of the cousin. It's the Matt Corluka to the Ben Mandelker of potato chips. It's usually shaped kind of like as like a faux kind of like slice of carrot or something like that.
It's like a cubed cylinder.
Yeah.
A long cube, maybe.
It's strange that they chose that. Like, this is what veggie chips are going to look like.
Yeah, people love these stringy veggies.
They kind of look like an Olympic mascot. You know how Olympic mascots are sort of like exclamation
like
points always? They always they're kind of like little French fries. Almost.
Yeah, dehydrated little veggie. Yeah.
So veggie sticks. Now, why do you choose a veggie stick instead of any other chip?
I think it comes down to, I feel like gamers want to make sure that their cards and meeples are not sullied by any sort of like grease or salt.
Correct.
And I feel like veggie sticks are, lacking kind of like the grease category.
Yeah.
So it feels like an easy, safe kind of snack to bring into the
Very safe. And for some reason, because they say veggie, we all assume that we're eating more healthily.
Don't say that, Ben. That's absolutely accurate.
Even though we're not. Can I tell you something over the weekend?
Please, yeah.
I was somewhere, I was doing a show for Watch What Crappens, and so we were backstage, and they put a bag of Bugles backstage. Do you remember the last time you had a Bugle? Have you ever had a Bugle?
Yeah, as a child, I would put them on my fingers.
Of course, that's what they're made for. They're little finger caps.
What did the Crappens crowd think of when you walked on stage with Bugles?
They were confused. No, but they're basically like Fritos. The same flavor profile as Fritos, but they're shaped like little cones.
Yeah.
First of all, so delicious.
They are.
I feel like
great,
we're ready for a Bugle renaissance in pop culture.
Yeah.
But I think a Bugle would be a pretty good alternative to a veggie chip.
Yeah.
They do have a lot of salt on them, so that might be a little bitsy grainy.
Yeah, they're also small too, right? And I feel like a larger chip.
They're finger sized. They can fit on a finger.
They bounce right off of mine. Just all kind of flail around. But the larger chip, you have to sometimes if you crack it or crunch into it, sometimes crumbs fall everywhere too. You know what I mean?
Such a good point.
Right?
Such a good point. Well, you want something that you just pop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that brings up a question about Pringles.
Sure.
Pringles are a great well, if you get classic Pringles, first of all, you're never even going to touch anything that says barbecue on it.
Or all dressed for the Canadians, you know.
What do they call it?
I feel like there's an all dressed flavor.
It's called all dressed?
Yeah, it's do they not have it here?
All dressed up and ready to go. By the way, Matt's Canadian, everyone. Among many other nationalities.
Yeah.
But Well, I know you guys have ketchup chips up there.
That's right. We do have ketchup chips. Yeah.
But that's different from all dressed.
Yeah. I might be going crazy. I feel like it's a chip. What if I just start panicking right now during this?
I just like that the Canadian version of a barbecue chip is like, ours is like barbecue. And you're just like, all dressed.
Yeah, it's quite prim and proper. That's what it is. Yeah, but ketchup chips are great too. But I think you're right. I think the plain chip is the important thing.
But the thing with a Pringle, which I never thought of until this moment, because I would say the Pringle is like the platonic ideal of a snack chip because it's not greasy.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of stuff on it.
Yeah.
But you bring up such a good point, which is that you're not usually going to eat it in one bite, which means that when you bite into it, there's a chance of fragmentation.
Yeah, the fragmentation.
You got to be careful.
That's right.
Luckily, like Pringle fragmentation is not going to be that disruptive it's not going to like sully the game too much, right?
I think it's tectonic, actually, Ben. I think it would destroy the game experience. No, you're right.
Could you imagine playing Arcs and you get like to the third game of the campaign and then someone has a Pringle crumb on your universe and then it's just over?
Yeah, it's completely over. Yeah, the paramedic has to come in because you've killed the person, put the crumb on your Arc table.
Because they went into shock. Yeah. Pringle shock. I still think Pringles are a very solid one.
I think that's great. Yeah, it's a great call.
I was going to say, you know what? I have it right here. I don't know if you can see this on camera.
The classic.
I'm having a really great. We're not endorsed by M&Ms, but I have to say peanut M&Ms.
They're the best.
Are a great game night snack because a lot of times if you want chocolate at game night, it's going to get all over your fingers.
That's right. Yeah. That's the problem with the clusters too.
That's why clusters are really best. And we're going to get back to this.
Oh boy.
Clusters are best in a bowl or in their bag on like a nearby counter or like, so my setup is I've got my table, I've got an open concept. And so we have my table where we game and then we have like a kitchen island. And so I think there's certain snacks that belong on the kitchen island. So you snack, you have them, but then you do like you do like maybe a napkin or you run your fingers under the faucet real quickly, sort of like clean it up a little bit, just get the chocolate off.
100%.
If you have it at the table, you run the risk of accidentally getting chocolate on yourself because like I'm really good about the chocolate situation, but but even me, a chocolate cleanup pro, you know, the worst is when the chocolate gets on this part, the little meaty part of your hand.
That's right, yeah.
Because you can always see when it's on your fingers, but inevitably there's somehow chocolate can wind up on like the heel of your hand.
I have sweaty palms thinking about that.
And that's when the danger happens.
It is, truly, yeah.
So anyway, M&Ms, what's great is you can have a chocolate fix.
Yeah.
But the coating, you know.
Hard shell. It's that hard shell.
It's almost like the old saying goes, melts in your mouth, not in your hands.
Are you sure you're not sponsored by?
No, but I do think like peanut M&Ms are great because also like they're like peanut M&Ms are more substantial than regular M&Ms.
They really are, yeah.
So that feels like a little bit, and that you can pop them so you're not going to have the fragmentation issue.
They are also addictive.
They are wonderful.
They're so good.
They are wonderful. Yeah. And obviously you can mix it up with like a peanut butter M&M if there's a nut allergy, classic M&M, and there's like all these other weird M&M flavors. But I think M&M is like
caramel M&M, pretzel M&M as well. Pretzel's a great one.
Yes. You know what? Honestly, I don't love the caramel one.
Man, really?
That's just a taste. That's just a.
Oh, interesting.
I don't think it's.
It's the combination of it's truly just that combination of caramel and chocolate.
Oh, I like the flavor. I don't know. I think texturally, it's like a little. I don't know. I think they could do better.
Okay.
And they have done better. I'll say that right now. Just lost the sponsorship. Yeah. So you know what? I just love my notes. I think I've actually already covered so many of my things. I said good. Peanut M&Ms, and then non-residue. Pringles, Bugles, and tortilla. We didn't talk about tortilla chips. What do you think about tortilla chips?
Still great, but they also have that risk of the salsa. If you have salsa at the table, you know what I mean?
The salsa has to be on the counter.
Yeah. Okay.
And if someone brings a little plate over salsa, they so have risky. To go back.
Oh, man. Yeah.
You cannot have... First of all, I think dips are totally verboten.
Yeah.
You cannot have a dip at the table. On the counter or the kitchen island.
Yeah, you dip to dip. That's what you do. That's the rule.
Yeah, you dip to dip. Do you have another really solid snack?
I think you have hit a couple of my favorites so far. I don't know. Are you a candy person? Do you like candy specifically, or are you more of a chocoholic?
I'm a chocoholic. So when you say candy, the way you separated that makes me think that you're implying like candy is the category of like fruity, like gummies. And,
like a gummy bear or something.
Or lollipops.
Or lollipop, yeah.
Whimsy.
Yeah,
the whimsy candies. I generally don't eat those. I'm mainly I'm like a chocolate person. So
I would agree. I feel like we're aligned on that.
Yeah, I'm like if given a choice, just in general on candy, I'm gonna go to like my Kit Kats and my peanut butter cups, my M&Ms, Snickers bars, and the whole Snickers family. But I really just do. I mean, if given a chance, little Snickers. By the way,
please.
Speaking of Canada, I was in Canada like 2 weeks ago, and I had a Mars bar.
Oh,
fabulous!
They're great, right?
Why have we sent Mars bars out of America? Because they used to be here, I think.
Yeah, maybe there's some sort of like tension, you know, with
maybe between
Mars
it
family.
and like Milky Ways, because Milky Ways are basically Mars bars.
Oh, I didn't realize that. You know,
they're very galactic.
I would always conflate them. So yeah, that does make sense. They are very galactic.
And as we all know, Milky Ways are basically like the Jan Brady of those candy bars, because it's like the middle child between like Three Musketeers.
Yeah, the oft ignored middle child. Yeah, that's right.
But when you have Snickers, like why would you choose?
I think I would prefer Snickers over Mars, even as a Canadian. I hate to betray it, but
it's the nuts. So
it's
nice.
Fun to hear. Yeah.
When I was a kid, I used to actually Snickers was my least favorite because the nuts were annoying texturally to me. But now as an adult, I like the Satisfy. Snickers Satisfy.
Did you have any other childhood favorites that you kind of left or evolved from as you grew older?
No, I think as a child I liked more of like the whimsy candies. So I would maybe have like Lifesavers. As a kid, I really liked Lifesavers.
The candy ones specifically, not like the mint ones, or like the
like
actual,
the candy
flavored
ones. Like you could get like the rainbow package.
That's right. Yeah,
and I would
those
eat
were great.
the lemons and lime. Yeah, I like the lemon lime stuff.
I can tell by the lemons you have back here.
Yes, my very real lemons that are back there. But I would say, well, what do you think? Do you think a sucking candy? I used to also when I was a kid, I used to have Jolly Ranchers. But
those are great.
Sucking candies, it feels like that would be safe. But I think there's something like giving a sucking candy as a snack feels weird.
Yeah.
I don't know if that even counts as a snack. That's like an experience.
It's a 4D experience, all right?
It's a 4D.
Your chair is shaking as you eat your
That's my Jolly Rancher.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I think it's okay to bring to the table, especially if you're like, if it's a longer game and it's not necessarily like a meal time or a time around like a supper or like a lunch or something.
Yeah.
Something nice and simple, like something sweet to tide you over, keep your energy up.
Yeah. Although the thing with sucking candies is that like they're very fragrant. And there's something about like if you're having like a long game day and you're like in a room, there's already a sort of like an element of like you're in a room together for so many hours and there's snacks. Yeah. There's like a lot of smells that happen anyway. And then when you add that layer of like sucking candy smell, it's a little too like elementary school smelling to me, you know?
You are going to save an episode of this podcast for the smells of the board game.
Yeah, the smells, the sense of the sense of a game. I was trying to make a pun on scent of a woman. Scent of a game.
Oh. What do you think about this? So overall, sucking candies, the floral, the scent of them is what's putting you off of them. Interesting.
Yeah, but it's not a hard pass. I'm fine with it.
All right, there maybe
it's not going to affect the game, so it's okay. But so we've touched on a lot of the ones that you've liked.
Yeah.
What are some others that you brought? Some licorice sometimes, right?
Yeah, I brought red licorice. Red licorice. I am staunchly against black licorice. Have you had black licorice before? Do you enjoy it? What are your thoughts on black?
I'll tell you this much. I'm against the entire family.
You're against the olive
black
licorice?
and red.
Really?
But that is
it's a texture thing, right? Is it a texture thing?
Yeah, it's not a game night. I think it's a good I think it's actually pretty good for game night because I don't think it's very sticky or
no. Yeah.
I just I don't like the flavor. I don't like the flavor of red or.
It's kind of like a duller flavor, I think.
I just I don't like a lot of fruity flavors. I don't like a lot of berry flavors. So Twizzlers are real. Like when people eat Twizzlers around me, I'm like, ooh. But
how are you when people eat Twizzlers?
I'm like, oh. I like fennel. Like I like in cooking, I like fennel. I don't mind licorice flavors.
You like fennel? Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Big fennel head over here.
So much about you that
you give me those fronds. I put fennel seeds in so many things.
Oh my
but when it comes to the actual candy, I just don't like Twizzlers.
That's fair.
All that,
yeah, I'll accept that.
It's just not, but I think but that being said, I think it's a good snack for gaming.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it doesn't make a mess. It's quick to eat, and you can. Would you say that you can have it at the table as well as away
I think
from
you
the
can
table?
have it at the table.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think you can. It's not gonna imperil anything.
Can I ask you this away from the table rule that you have? Mm-hmm. Ever since I've been playing with your group, you've had it. Was there ever a moment that you had to lay down the law and this was like a regular thing, a regular rule going forward? Was there a spill?
Was there a moment?
Was there a spill?
I can't remember if there was or not. I think what this is also interestingly tied into is that so many board games are like these one-off runs, or they go out of print and then they become rare. And
that's
what
right.
happens is like there's an element of like protect the game.
Preservation,
If it gets ruined, like you don't know if you'll be able to replace it.
That's fair. I didn't think about that.
Especially when there's hidden information. And I just became kind of like paranoid about it. I had one traumatic experience.
Name the person.
I'm not going to name the person. I may have talked about this on Game Brain, but okay. Back like 10 years ago, I had just gotten a fresh copy of the game Secret Hitler, which is a social deduction game.
Yeah.
It's like hidden roles. Some like everyone is at around the table. It's supposed to be a liberal, but then they're secretly fascist.
There's a werewolf mafia kind of.
Yeah, it's in that realm. Traders, for people who watch that. And I had just gotten my copy. I played it like once. I was like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
And so I went to Austin where my boyfriend was working and I brought Secret Hitler. And I was like, this will be fun. I don't know why. I was like, maybe we can play it with some people.
Yeah.
And so we did. And we like gathered at a coffee shop. And and by the way, I have a nice version. Like the creators of Secret Hitler sent it to me because one of the creators' sisters was a fan of Watcher Crabbins.
Sure,
So I don't know, like somehow that like we were gonna send you one.
It happened, yeah.
So I have this really nice copy.
Oh no.
And so we're all sitting there, and there's all these people in this group, and we're at this coffee shop, and we're outdoors. The outdoors doesn't matter. I'm just painting a scene. It could have been indoors.
You're an artist. Paint away, okay?
But someone at the table decided to order a Greek salad. And so they had a Greek salad, which is by and large, it's scary. Whenever salad is involved, like leafy things become little trebuchets of oil.
They are absolute trebuchets. They are. But you would think with a Greek salad, there aren't very many like spinach or leaves.
But turns out it wasn't a leaf issue. What happened was this girl, she would pick the olives out of the Greek salad with her fingers and she would eat them. It was like a fun little thing. She would eat the olive and put it in her mouth. She was just plucking them out. Which is fine. It's like she likes the olives and she was having a special olive moment.
Do not say that's fine.
She was having a special olive moment, but what she was doing, her fingers were getting oily, and she would pick up the tiles.
Oh, I hate this.
And the oil, even if she had wiped off her fingers, there was enough like oil on there. It started to stain the tiles. So
oh my God.
This is a game of hidden information. You cannot, every tile, the tiles will say like liberal versus fascist. Like,
yeah.
I'm not going to get for people who haven't played it, I'm not going to get in the weeds of it, but there is like a moment when you have to decide, is there going to be a liberal agenda passed or a fascist agenda? And it's all in secret and people just have to take your word for it. So like the moment, you cannot have markings on those tiles.
Oh my gosh.
And she was getting little yellow markings on the tiles and I lost my mind. Internally, of course. Externally, I was like, oh my God, we're having the best time. But internally, I was spiraling.
Internally, you were like, 10 years from now, I'm going to bring this up on a podcast. Okay.
I will wait 10 years. I will wait a decade. But it was actually like, it created so much stress for me.
Yeah.
And that's also ultimately a me issue because at the end of the day, it's a game and you just have to get over it. And like, who cares? And honestly, the stains are so small that like, I made a big effort to not track them, so I don't know really what pieces they're on. I never pointed out because you wouldn't even notice, but I knew they were there, and I lost my mind.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Can I just make an observation? The worst part of your experience, you told the story of this person ruining the game. I would think that in the scenario where you're playing a game in public, where you have to accuse people of being, part of the, a fascist. I would think that like the public setting would be the more nerve-wracking experience.
Yeah.
But it was in
2015. It was like 2015 before like it felt like a real situation in our lives.
Sure, yeah. But it was the Greek salad. Okay.
the Greek salad was the real issue.
Okay, so that was when you decided, moving forward.
Well, just one of those things where I became just like, I was like, that was probably the beginning of when I realized I have to start being a little bit more vigilant. There was one time I was playing viticulture and my friend spilled a glass of wine on it.
That's fun. That's kind of funny.
It was kind of funny, but like it was fine. I don't know why that didn't bother me as much, but there's something something about Secret Hitler that I don't know.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was also like a big campaign at the time too. People were very excited about this game.
This was like a special edition.
Yeah.
And you get these games and they're special and they cost money
100%.
and so you want to
preserve them.
Yeah. And so like I've talked on Game Brain about finger etiquette, which is like really has a big crossover with this because people do weird things with their fingers at the table. They stick them up their noses all the time.
Yeah, when they're thinking.
Yeah. And like I had a whole thing on Game Brain I talked about like actually secretly a snack that I don't like are little itsy bitsy snacks, like little peanuts. Like if you have like a little baggie of peanuts,
okay,
you would think that's a good snack.
Yeah.
But what happens is if you have a little itsy bitsy thing like a trail mix, people, what they do is they go in with their thumb and their finger.
Yeah, their index finger.
They go like this and they go into it like
for the
this.
specific spot. For the specific
they go
snack.
they put their thumb and their index finger into the bag.
Yeah.
And then they stick it all the way into their mouth.
Oh.
Go, and then sometimes they may lick their, and that inherently doesn't gross me out, but then you're like touching all these components.
Oh, I hate this.
And if you think about it,
yeah,
it's actually vile.
It's very vile. You know what I've started to do is I would, in situations or settings where it's like a game, it's like a comfortable group. These are friends of mine, old friends of mine. We will bring snacks to the table sometimes, but we will put them in like kind of individual bowls so that it's less of like a communal, put your hands into the whole bag and more of like, you have your individual thing that you don't have to sully, somebody else's food with.
Yeah.
Because that visual is very gross.
Yeah, it was something I never thought about, but I just remember one time someone brought little baggies of peanuts, and I just remember being at a game night.
Your peanut dealer was playing that night, right?
Yeah, I was playing peanut dealer, and I was looking around, and everyone was sticking their. It was like everyone was sticking their fingers into like the deepest recesses of their mouth. They're like, and then when they can't, it just is like when you sit around and when you stop and you look around, you see it happening all around you. You're just like. This is actually horrifying.
Yeah, this is the scariest episode of your podcast so far. As everybody's nightmares revisited.
This is dark. I want to talk about some more snacks I think are bad.
Yeah. Hit me with it.
I already told my olive story, so I don't have to talk about olives anymore. But olives don't do. I would say olives are not allowed at game night.
Yeah, I would agree.
I love olives.
They're wet.
They're wet. I think anything that is wet. So berries, no berries.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like
cubed fruit out of the picture.
Oh my God.
Watermelon, melon, nothing.
Some people just like show up with cubes of pineapple.
Wait, really?
Yes, I've seen it in like multiple game nights with multiple groups. Like, I don't know.
Name and shame, Ben. Name and shame. This is a public forum now. Name and shame.
I don't know who thinks this is a good idea. Don't bring cubes of pineapple to game night. It's wet. Like at best, it can go on the counter.
Yeah.
Okay, here's how it can work.
But even then,
counter with plastic fork.
Yeah, that's fine.
Counter plastic fork with and like, but like, that is not allowed on the table. Whatsoever.
Oh my gosh, what a nightmare.
Question.
Yeah.
This is an interesting one. What do you think about apples? They have a skin which sort of contains the wetness.
Yeah.
But if you're eating it like a full apple at the table, spritz everywhere.
Yeah, you can't do it. No, I would say that is a situation where you chop them up and you leave them separate from the game.
Chop it at the table. Not at the table. Sorry, chop at the counter.
Oh, at the counter, exactly.
Yeah.
Have you had an apple story that you?
No, apple's been fine. Also, like if it's like a party game. By the way, I'm much more lax with party games. Party games are meant to get shat on. So like.
This isn't like nuts. A deluxe edition Kickstarter.
Like, you're playing a Euro. You're playing but apples. I think apples are. That's like acceptable wetness, but like again,
acceptable wetness. The title of the episode.
Acceptable wetness, but still keep it like not around the game. But like cubes of pineapple, cubes of melon, and I would say all berries. Just too wet.
I would agree with that.
That's
a really good point.
I have a friend who always loves to bring blueberries, and he knows who he is. And he's a very nice guy. He's very lovely. He always loves to bring a blueberry. And I'm like, what's bad about these is they're both wet and very stain forward.
Yeah, they're famously stain forward. Yeah.
And I've like shamed him to his face. I'm like, oh, the blueberries again. And he's like, yep. He loves the blueberries. I almost don't want to take away his blueberry joy.
Let him have his joy.
Yeah.
That's fair. But I would agree with you. I think they're still a wet fruit.
They're wet and stainy.
They're stain forward.
They're stainy and wet.
Oh my gosh.
So pomegranate seeds also.
Yeah.
Like literally, don't you dare. And I don't even know if this would even be a situation, but in case it is, I think it goes without saying, beets, absolutely not. Because someone might come up with like a fresh, like they're like, oh, I wanted something like fresh and vegetal. So
You're gonna have somebody in the comments being the beet person who's like, I object. Respectfully, I disagree.
I don't know. Beets. I don't know about beets.
Yeah, I think they're great in salads, but yeah, for game night, no. They're just part of a meal, not a snack.
Where do you stand on donuts?
Like mini powdered ones?
Let's do like, okay, well, let's talk about powdered donuts.
Sure.
Glazed.
Yeah.
Chocolate frosted.
Yeah.
And some sort of cream filled.
I have a very close friend who, for every game night or for every D&D night, he would bring a bag of powdered donuts, and that bag would be empty by the end of the night.
Oh, what? Oh, those little. Oh, question. Well, D&D is different though, because does that as component.
I think it can be component heavy. There's still the dice that you have to roll. Sometimes you have miniatures as well as a map that you put your figures
True, but it's
on.
not like hidden. Like I'm more chill when there's no hidden information.
Oh, that's interesting.
So for me, it's really about the hidden information, and if that gets ruined, then you can compromise gameplay.
Oh, I'm just like across the board, preserve the materials regardless of whether they affect the game information.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I used to be like that, but I've now been like, it's just about hidden. Let me
you've
try
matured, Ben? You've matured? Is that what you're saying? I still hold on to things.
I think so. You know what? I do think I've matured. Get your apple onto the counter because I don't want to see it. So here, okay, donuts. I would have to say, donuts go onto the counter.
Yeah.
And there have to be napkins.
Yeah.
But the problem with donuts is that inevitably people. Okay,
you got to cut them. Also,
two issues with donuts.
Please tell me. Yeah.
One is people inevitably bring donuts over to the table, even if you have them at the counter. There's something about a donut that people like to carry donuts in general. It's like a very portable food. Like when people have donuts, it's like a food you get on the go, right?
Yeah, it's on the go snack for sure.
So I think that translates to gaming, where people are like, I know the donuts are over here.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna get a paper towel and I'm gonna bring it to the game table. And
so is your issue no donuts across the board, or is there like a Boston cream scenario where they can sneak in and be accepted at the table?
Boston cream's dangerous because you have a custard that could really fuck some shit up.
That's right. Oh my god, I'm so dumb. That's right. What about like a dry donut?
Like an apple cider? That might be okay, but they are very sugary. And the thing is that sugar may be dry, but the moment it starts to intermingle with your fingers, it gets sticky.
Plus, like, you want to have a coffee with a donut, so why are you bringing that over to the table and then,
Because sometimes if you start a game day in the morning...
You've done those?
Oh, yeah. Would you like to be part of the next morning session?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Oh, I would love to have you. Okay, so I have another trauma.
Yeah, okay.
One time I had a game day and this lady came over and I foolishly bought a whole bunch of donuts. I think, did I buy the donuts or did someone bring them? It doesn't matter. The donuts were there.
Box of donuts present.
Box of donuts. There were some glazed donuts. And she had probably about 3 donuts, which is fine. But she ate them at the table.
Okay.
And
stacked. They were stacked on her plate.
All at once. No, she ate them at the table.
Yeah.
And so what happened, and she also like, she would talk and the donuts would just come out of her mouth.
Oh my God.
But which, by the way, donuts can come out of people's mouths very easily. Like people don't realize how much of that glaze.
They're pastry. Yeah, there's glaze
it's
on
like
it.
in your mouth and you think you've swallowed, but there's some pastry that's like on the tooth, like ready to be launched. It's like, oh, my moment's about to come. I'm going to fly. So she had such a pile of like sugary crumb.
Yeah.
Like glaze. It was like fragmented, the glaze fragments. It was like there was all this like sugary stuff around her section, and it was all on the floor. And I was like, I'm never serving a donut again. I'm never putting out donuts again for game day, ever.
Ostensibly you'd want the guest to also like clean up after. So you want to obviously.
She hasn't been invited back.
I mean, like, yeah, I think you bring up a really good point. Like, you want to have a snack that is like a quick clean, so you don't have to never invite back what was once a close friend, now current enemy.
Well, she wasn't a close friend. She was a friend of a friend. But there was what about a croissant is terrible.
No. Yeah, no, Ben.
So
yeah,
buttery.
Right. Bring that back. No croissant. Oh my God, Ben.
Whoa.
You're not invited to your own game nights anymore.
They're crumbly and buttery.
Yeah.
But they're drier. The outsides are, you know what? I'm not even going to justify
don't even
it.
go. Don't even try to
we're not.
justify it. I appreciate your logical,
Croissants are
convoluted.
No.
Yeah. That's so
Banana
funny.
bread. I have actually.
I think it's great. I feel like you've made a banana bread or something for
I have.
me
I
at a
have.
game night or something.
I have made a banana bread
Yeah.
before a game of Twilight Imperium. That was
Yeah.
very fun, and I've made a banana bread. Banana bread can be greasy, so keep an eye on it.
Sure.
I would say.
I'll keep an eye on my banana bread.
Be careful. Monitor your finger. Monitor your finger grease health.
Yeah.
And then and proceed. But I think banana bread is generally safe because even if it makes crumbs, that's gonna be generally okay. But it is buttery. That might be a counter.
It's buttery, and also you have like ripe bananas that are still kind of juicy, you know, and they add to the bread having its consistency.
What about bananas? Are bananas an acceptable snack?
They're not.
I would really.
They're not, because you still have, you know, like little banana strings.
Oh, those are the worst.
Those are the worst. Yeah.
They're so stupid.
They are stupid.
They're stupid. It's a stupid feature.
I'm gonna add that to the banana Wikipedia page after this.
But you know what?
Tell me.
I haven't had them in a long time, so I can't remember if I don't think they were that greasy. Banana chip.
Yeah, those are fine.
I think those
that came across my mind when you were talking about fruits earlier. I think banana chips are fine.
banana chips are great.
Yeah.
I love a banana chip.
They're great in a trail mix too. You can put them in your own trail mix.
I haven't had a banana chip in so long, and as a kid, I'd loved banana chips.
After this, let's go get a banana chip.
You know what? Banana chip after the table scraps. Okay, let's do. You want to do a lightning round?
Yeah, let's do a lightning round.
Since
Please.
Okay. Ready? We'll alternate.
And just to be clear, we're gonna be pulling things out of this bowl and saying whether we agree with them as a
Yes.
snack. Okay, great.
Okay, so here's how the lightning round is going to go. We are going to determine very quickly, in a lightning sort of way, does this snack belong at the table, on the counter, or just out of that? Not acceptable.
Yeah.
Okay, ready?
Ready.
Okay, the snack is hummus.
I think it's a counter.
I think it's a counter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Counter.
Veggies or chips. You know, I think it's a counter.
It's a counter. That's a good one. That's a good one because it's healthier.
Okay. The snack that I pulled is jalapeno poppers.
They have. I want to say they have no place, but I can see them being.
No, you're right. I think they're a no place thing. You know why? It's because of the setup of the jalapeno poppers. If they're in a frozen bag, you've got to like bake at the house beforehand.
Well, assuming
you know what I mean?
Assuming that they are ready. Taking out the labor. Where let's make labor not part of it.
Okay, separate from
wait, pausing the lightning round to be unlightning for a moment. Like what makes it seems like theoretically anything could be a counter snack as long as it's not coming here. But like
that's a
what
good
is
point.
something that is like, why is something okay on the counter versus can't even be there? Like it can't even be trusted. And I think part of it is that there is the temptation to bring it over to the table, to the game.
Yeah.
And maybe the other part is like the danger of, you know what? Okay, here's where I'm gonna land on it.
Yeah, let's see what the criteria is.
I'm gonna say the ones that you don't even want there are the ones where you don't want the risk of them even coming close to the table,
Yep.
like a pineapple cube. Like a.
Is this your John Wayne? Are you doing a John Wayne right now?
I'm reeling with emotion. A pineapple cube.
Yeah.
So I think that like a jalapeno popper, I like it in theory, but I think we're not going to do it.
Yeah, I would agree.
We're not going to do it.
Yeah, I agree. I would bar it.
I just realized I've been slumping in my chair. So if I'm,
Should we redo this?
If my framing is bad this show, I'm sorry. Okay. Oh, popcorn.
Yeah, I think that's
It's so broad.
I think it's game dependent also, and yeah, it is broad. It's broad. It depends on the type of popcorn too. Is it a cheesy popcorn? Is it just like a buttery popcorn?
Cheesy popcorn is counter at best.
Yeah, at best.
Caramel popcorn, okay, because that's like it's a hard.
You're okay with
caramel.
that, really?
Well, it's like a.
You're not
hard
worried about
caramel.
like caramel residue or anything on your fingers?
Does it really get too residuey?
I mean, I got sweaty palms, Ben. I don't know.
Okay, we're just gonna say plain popcorn.
Great.
And caramel popcorn for the counter.
Great. Deal.
Cheesy.
Agree.
Pirate's Booty. No.
Is Pirate's Booty a brand? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Pirate's
Learn
Booty
something new.
is actually Pirate's Booty is not a popcorn. Sorry, Pirate's Booty is actually more of like a cheese doodle puff kind of thing.
Love it.
I don't know. It had no had no business being in part of the popcorn category.
My snack is tapas, which is just a kind of catch-all term.
Just a general cuisine.
Yeah. You know, I used to live in Spain, right? I lived in Spain for over a year.
Oh.
And I also would like bring foods to people's houses. And famously, here's another category. If you don't want to end up on a podcast, don't bring like a really bad snack, depending on the setting. One person to this like outdoor summer event brought a bowl of ceviche. It was the summer. That person was made fun of for so long. And I was that person. So don't ever make that mistake.
I was about to say, that was poorly curated.
Yeah. Guilty.
I'm sure it's delicious at one point.
It was fine. It was just a humiliation after the fact.
So tapas. Catch-all term.
I'm going to say tapas.
How often are you bringing tapas to the board game night?
I think, are we talking about like patatas bravas?
Oh,
I'm
yes.
going to say no. I'm going to say gumberry. No. I'm going to say tapas after or before games, but I don't think during.
Yeah. You know, some people just have like a full-on meal before a game and then they just play without snacks. But I'm not one of those people. I'm a snacking guy. I'm a snack king.
I do. It's kind of like if you have a meal beforehand, it's kind of stepping on your territory.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, don't do that.
I would be very threatened.
Do not eat it.
Oh, very similar.
Please.
Sushi. Now, this is interesting because sushi is also a cuisine, but I can imagine someone goes and gets like a little sushi platter with lots of little rolls, cut rolls,
sure,
and puts it on their counter. And they say, "Here's like a bunch of California rolls, whatever." Like a
grab
Costco.
a plate, put some on or something.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
I actually think that's okay. I think that's a good
fun counter. Yeah.
I actually think it's a really good. That's a fun.
Especially
that's a
like
fun
halfway
snack.
through like a TI, marathon. You
I'm
need a
pro
lunch or
sushi.
something. That's
Tapas no, sushi yes.
Sushi go. That's what we're
Sushi
saying.
go. I love that. I love that tie-in you just made.
All right, this is a snack that Ben always puts out on his board game nights. It is hard-boiled eggs. What would you? What is this? You're baiting me with this right now, Ben.
Because I can imagine someone saying, "I have hard-boiled egg." You know, like they're fitness people out
You have
there.
hard-boiled egg? One
So
singular?
they've gone to the store and they've got hard-boiled eggs.
Yeah, it's a
Like,
great
I'm just
protein.
saying, theoretically,
It is healthy. Yeah, I
you
would
could
agree.
encounter it. I think a hard-boiled egg could actually that could make it to the table.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be stinky.
Okay,
But a deviled egg, I'm gonna say no to deviled egg because they're slippery and you could fall on that like the deviled part. All of a sudden, your beautiful game of like Agricola now has deviled egg on it.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna say no.
All right, that's fair. I'll bar it also. I'm gonna bar eggs completely from the
Eggs are barred.
eggs as a whole are barred.
So a hard-boiled egg does not make it to the table.
It's a hard barred egg in my book right now.
Oh, I said the hard-boiled egg could come to the table. You're saying not only can it not come to the table, it's not even allowed.
It's not even allowed. Wow. You know, my monarchy reigns. Come on.
That's a snack king directive. Ooh, string cheese.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, that's
Now,
a table snack.
In this scenario, am I 5 years old in this scenario? Eating
Yes.
string cheese? Okay. It's a table snack for sure.
yeah.
I would agree. Yeah. I think
That's
great.
100%. That's like a very obvious. That's like that's actually a very clean. That's a great one. Ooh,
I lost one. Do you still strain the string cheese or do you just eat it? Do you just bite into it?
it depends on my mood. I feel like doing the string is like fun. It's a fun tactile experience, but sometimes it's more satisfying just to bite right into it.
Bite right into it. Yeah. Another famous Ben Mendelker snack: mini quiches. At board game night. You're so happy. That was yours.
Okay, the reason why I put that in there is I have never served those, and nor have I
really?
Well, for game night.
Oh yeah.
And I've never been served that, but I can imagine going to someone's house and they say, "You guys, for a snack, if you want, I've got these like mini quiches in the freezer. You want me to heat them up?" And then you suddenly have to think,
is this an eyes wide shut party? Am I going to be
Are we
served food and killed?
will the mini quiches be appropriate for our game?
Yeah.
And I would say a mini quiche is counter appropriate, but not game table appropriate.
Some of them are pretty flaky and buttery too, if they are like, if you are breaking them. So I would say counter two. I think that's a great
counter two. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Does that violate your egg rule though? Because it is basically it's like an egg that's like dressed up to go to the opera.
Like every king, I'm wishy-washy with my rules.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
You know, I can't stand that there's one on the floor. So I'm actually going to pull the one that's from the floor. That's right.
Do you want me to just grab it?
Yeah, grab it. Okay. The one that tried to escape. This snack, Potato skins.
That's a counter, I think. They're so good.
They're so good. I think that's. They're not allowed.
They're seasoned. They're delicious.
They're everything.
You know,
they're wonderful.
Yeah,
they're so good. Not allowed.
Yeah,
it's too.
And if you're playing in a Red Lobster,
that's everything.
You know?
It's just like grease. It's cream. It's everything wrong. It's everything wrong with a game night snack.
Yeah, no. I would agree.
And save it for the restaurant. You know.
Ooh, this is a fun one. Pigs in a blanket. Pigs in a blanket. I
think that's a good countertop one.
Yeah.
You know, we're
on a counter streak right now.
Yeah, I mean the truth is like really everything is good for a counter. I think counter for that one. Okay, this is gonna be my last one. Okay, do one more.
Let's do it.
Even though we have many in here, I hope this one's good. If it's not good, then I'm gonna put it back. Well, no, I'm just gonna choose one. No, I like this one. Shrimp platter. You actually chose this one. You actually submitted this one. I brought that forward. So now you have to answer.
That was a famous like New Year's Eve snack for my family. You know, growing up. That's why I thought of it. But yeah,
when I say shrimp platter, in my mind, I'm thinking shrimp cocktail, cold with like
100% what I'm thinking of. That's what I meant. That's 100% what I meant. Yeah. Because
if it was shrimp scampi, it's like, what are we doing here? But like, you've gotten a whole bunch of shrimp cocktail, and
I love those. I think they're great. But yeah, I think another. What if I said at the table, Ben? Would you bar me from future game nights?
There's no world in which a shrimp cocktail is appropriate for a table. I'm sorry. That's counter because they're wet and they have a dip.
You're gonna have so many people in the comments screaming that they disagree about this.
The shrimp cocktail lobby is strong.
Oh, yeah. But I'm not big shrimp is very strong.
Big shrimp. It's an oxymoron, but it's all right. Last one.
Terrifying. All right, last one. I'm gonna go random. Roll the dice.
Yeah. I feel like I really need to get that shrimp platter out there.
Okay. I'm so embarrassed to say this. I don't know what this really is.
Oh, perfect.
This is crudite?
Crudite. Crudite. If you ever get like a platter of like celery sticks and carrots, it's a vegetable. It's vegetables.
Okay.
It's basically raw vegetables. So raw vegetables like carrots, celery.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are allowed at the table.
Yeah.
You do have a risk, especially with celery, when you bite in, you might get spritz.
Sure.
I think spritz is okay. Like a little. I mean, I don't love it.
Yeah.
But
you would also think that people would like turn away, you know, at some point, or if I guess that they're deeply engaged. But it's like one of the few vegetables you don't need a dip necessarily to enjoy it, right? Carrot and celery.
But that being said, you're probably gonna want a dip. A lot of times crudités come with a dip. Yeah. So if you want to have a dip, guess where you're going?
The counter.
The counter.
The counter king over here.
The counter king.
Snack king, counter king.
To the counter. I think it's actually very special when a snack can actually graduate to the table.
Oh my gosh.
That's actually a special place for a snack because so few can get there.
Yeah, they've finally been accepted.
I want to say one exception to all this before we close out.
Please.
Because we talked about this also on Game Brain, which is the phenomenon of ice cream. So ice cream you would think would not be good at a table, but I almost feel like it might be okay because ice cream is like so deeply contained to a bowl. Like you're like not an ice cream sandwich. Ice cream sandwich, absolutely. Ice cream sandwich, terrible. It's gonna be all over your fingers.
Yeah.
But like if you're just having like a scoop of ice cream or 2 scoops of ice cream and you've got a spoon, generally speaking, I think that might be safe because you're probably gonna be eating it over your lap.
Yeah.
The danger is if once it goes onto the table, if you have a spoon,
the bowl
could have condensation, or the spoon could have something dripping off of it. So,
I think ice cream is great. You do have that protected area with the bowl, but also there's a countdown to ice cream. You know, it's one of the few foods that have a countdown, so people have to eat it pretty quickly. And, you know, they don't have to like dilly-dally during their turn to eat their snacks. I think ice cream's great.
I would wager that sushi and shrimp cocktail have a bit of a countdown. And depending on what sort of experience, what sort of experience you want to have later in the evening. Well, I feel like we really addressed a lot of important snacking issues.
Yeah.
And I think hopefully people learned a lot and they will.
I know I have.
Yeah. I can't believe we were able to teach lessons to Snack King since we've learned from you. But hopefully people have a better idea of some snacks are good to bring to game night and some snacks maybe to avoid.
Yeah.
Again, really pretty much all fruit I think is going to be terrible. It's more than just cubes and berries. I think really all fruit.
We really expanded it.
mean, I was okay with banana, but you made a pretty strong case.
Banana string. You got to watch out for those.
Stupid.
They're flipping and flopping.
Everywhere. They get everywhere.
This is great. I'm excited to see, what people say and suggest in terms of like what they bring.
I would love to hear it.
You're a big recipe guy. I feel like you're always inspired by what people are contributing to the conversation recipe wise.
Yes. And I've been a bad YouTuber because I should have been saying all along, tell us what snacks you like and which ones are your banes, and give us your stories too. I want to hear your horror stories about snacks, because I think people should know about these stories, because the more awareness we can bring to bad snacks at the table, the more games we can save. So tell everyone about your snack horror stories in the comments below, and of course subscribe. And Matt, thank you so much for coming on to this. Fun. This was great. I feel like we in a tough time for the world, we really got to something deep here.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you. This is great. This is so much fun.